Have you ever stopped to think that your date of birth was not a coincidence? Forget everything you've been told about luck or generic fate. There's a birth code engraved on your month, and it reveals much more than your sign. What you'll discover here is almost a closely guarded secret. There's a unique spiritual mission associated with the exact moment you arrived in the world. And most people go through their entire lives without even realizing it. Does it sound too mystical? It may even be. But the greatest spiritual masters in history knew, time carries messages. And your birth month is like a password to access your essence, your intuition, your divine purpose. When you understand what the universe was saying when it brought you exactly at that time of year, everything changes. Your path becomes clearer, the challenges make more sense, and what once seemed like a block turns into a portal. Get ready to dive into content that's not just inspiring, it's transformative. By the end of this video, you will not only understand the why of your walk, but you will feel an inner fire that may have been extinguished for years. But I warn you, this is not for everyone. It's for those who feel they were chosen. Few know, but the date of your birth carries a birth code, an energetic signature that goes beyond chance. It is as if the universe had marked on its certificate a divine purpose, aligned with its spiritual mission. Nothing there was random, not the month, not the day, much less the moment. Everything was millimetrically synchronized with his heavenly calling. The question is, are you listening to this call, or are you ignoring the signs? Imagine that each month of the year vibrates with a different energy of the month, like spirit seasons. It is as if the universe delivered a unique password to each group of births. People who live with more purpose instinctively realize this. They feel a greater intuition for certain paths, as if something inside them says, this is it. And when they align with that, everything starts to flow, not because it's gotten easier, but because it now makes sense. So, before asking yourself, why am I here, ask yourself, what is my birth trying to tell me? It's not about guesswork, it's about self-knowledge. The simple act of investigating the meaning of your month already sheds new light on your journey. For example, you can write about key moments in your life and see how they reflect your spiritual cycle. As we move through month by month, you will feel the transformation begin to take place, right there, between the words. Those born in January do not come into the world to follow trails that have already been opened. They are the first to step where no one has had the courage to go. They are the pioneers, those who carry in their chests a spiritual mission to open paths, even when the bush is high and the terrain is unstable. Life tests these spirits with great beginnings and unexpected challenges, but it's because the universe trusts in their strength. The energy of the month of January calls for boldness, courage, and a keen sense of divine purpose. It is common to see these people taking the lead in projects, pulling responsibilities, or inspiring without realizing it. They are natural leaders, even if they do not always want this position. But the heavenly calling they have received requires that they turn on the light of the beginning so that others can see later. Want an example? They are the ones who start a business from scratch, raise social movements, or move to another city to start over with more purpose. Their life is an eternal, let's go, even without guarantees. However, this impulse only makes sense when it is connected to intuition. The danger is to act without listening to this inner voice, because pioneering without conscience becomes stubbornness. January calls for balance between action and spiritual direction. This is where transformation comes in, when they realize that leading is not only about paving the way, but also guiding those who come after them with hope and faith. And speaking of driving, let's see how the following month transforms this journey into an art of peace. Those born in February carry a rare sweetness, almost like a balm for agitated hearts. These people have the gift of calming environments, of uniting extremes, of dissolving tensions with a simple look or word. It is as if his spiritual mission is to soften the noises of the soul, not only his own, but that of others as well. The energy of the month vibrates in tune with diplomacy, empathy, and true listening. They are the confidants, the ones who bring hope just by their presence. In everyday life, they are those who keep the peace in the family, at work, even in WhatsApp groups that almost turn into war. They have the power to restore broken ties, and sometimes they don't even realize how rare this is. When they live in alignment with their divine purpose, they become true spiritual mediators. What's more, they turn disagreements into reconciliations, not with sermons, but with welcoming. Want to live your essence of February? Try listening more than talking, and read works like The Power of Listening by Michael P. Nichols. But beware, the peace of February is not passive, it is strategic, it is strong. Their intuition picks up on what is hidden in the words of others. The challenge is not to cancel yourself out in the name of harmony. True transformation happens when the peacemaker learns that his gift of emotional healing also deserves limits. And when this awareness arrives, the resilient faith of those who come soon after begins to be born, prepared to face storms. March brings to the world souls made of steel covered in petals, sensitive, but unbreakable. They are those who face emotional, professional, or spiritual storms without losing themselves. They carry within them a faith that defies logic and are often an anchor for others on windy days. Their spiritual mission is to resist, but not out of stubbornness, it is out of hope. The energy of the month of March is a reminder that steadfastness is also a form of love. You know that person who goes through a hurricane and still reaches out to lift you up? It was probably born in March. They have a quiet force that inspires, they don't need to scream to be heard. When aligned with the divine purpose, they become beacons for those who think of giving up. Want a practical example? In difficult times, they are the ones who organize a chain of prayer, donate food even with little, or welcome with a coffee and a shoulder. But not everything is rosy, the persistent needs to learn to dose. Intuition can warn you when it's time to step back and preserve yourself. Persisting is not destroying oneself trying to save everything, and herein lies the transformation. The beauty of March is precisely this, to be reborn as many times as necessary, without losing the light in your eyes. Because right there, when it seems that there is no more strength, April blows its fire of renewal. April arrives with a warm breath of fresh start. Those born in this month carry a soul that understands, from an early age, what it is to fall and get up, and not only to get up, but to get up stronger. Its spiritual mission is to show, in practice, that pain can be fuel for transformation. They are like the phoenix, they burn, but they are reborn even more beautiful, with more light in their eyes and more clarity about what matters. The energy of the month pulsates with renewal, intensity, and emotional courage. In real life, these people are the ones who come out of a breakup and, instead of sinking, rediscover old passions, create projects, travel alone. They know, intuitively, that the end is never an end, it's just another new beginning. Aligned with their divine purpose, they become a living inspiration for overcoming. Books like Hal Elrod's The Miracle Morning can amplify this daily rebirth with simple restarting practices. Those born in April came to prove that after the fall, there is flight. But it is important to remember, the reborn also needs rest. The intensity it carries can burn inside if not directed well. This is where intuition becomes an essential guide, helping you realize when it's time to rekindle the flame and when it's time to let it rest. This wisdom of knowing the right time. It is what sets the stage for the unwavering steadfastness that May brings with her roots of faith. May is the month of firm roots, of the soul that does not bow to the first gale. Those who are born in this period carry within them a rare spiritual stability, a faith that sustains even others in difficult days. Its spiritual mission is to be a safe haven, the one that does not collapse when the world trembles. The energy of the month vibrates like an ancestral trunk, strong, silent, and deeply connected to the earth and sky. They are those who hold the invisible structure of relationships and life. You recognize them easily. They are the ones who keep calm when everyone panics, who pray in silence while others scream, who keep believing when all seems lost. Those born in May have a divine purpose that goes through example, not speech. Do you want to apply this strength in practice? Create spiritual anchoring rituals, such as nature walks, reading Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, or Psalm meditations. Firm faith is also cultivated in everyday life. But they should not carry the world alone. The lesson of the month is to understand that even the trunks need rest, pruning, and transformation. Using intuition to notice when they are becoming too rigid is essential. The beauty of May is to show that firmness and flexibility can go together. And when that wisdom blossoms, it's time to start building something lasting, exactly what June came to teach. June brings to the world souls with a vocation to edify. Those born in this month carry the spiritual mission of building, brick by brick, not only physical structures, but also values, bonds, and ideas that resist time. The energy of the month vibrates with planning, long-term vision, and commitment to solidity. They were not born for shortcuts, but for deep foundations. They are the engineers of the spiritual life, those who build with soul and not just with effort. These people know that without a base, everything falls apart. Therefore, they are judicious, detail-oriented, and, often, excellent advisors, because they know where the foundation is cracked, even without looking. When they live their divine purpose, they become a reference of constancy and reliability. Do you want to apply this in your daily life? Create a spiritual journal, organize your goals into practical plans, and read books like Gary Keller's The Only Thing, which teaches you to stay focused on what really matters. But building also requires listening, and the intuition of these souls is what defines whether a work is solid or just beautiful on the outside. June teaches that it is not enough to erect walls, it is necessary to leave windows where light enters, and doors through which hope circulates. And when this awareness sets in, something deepens. As if an invitation arose to dive even deeper into the essence of being, exactly what July proposes. July arrives with an energy that invites you to dive, and those born in this month feel this call from an early age. They are people who are not satisfied with the shallow, the surface, or the obvious. Their spiritual mission is to seek the truth behind appearances, to decode the invisible, to touch the soul. The energy of the month pulsates with introspection, fertile silence, and a thirst for meaning. They live connected to a sharp intuition, which whispers where the eyes cannot reach. These people are the ones who ask questions that no one else has the courage to ask, and who keep quiet when everyone else speaks. In the right environment, they become therapists, writers, counselors, students of the human soul. When you access your divine purpose, you help others to descend to the roots of pain, to find light from there. A good exercise for the deep of July. Write letters to yourself at different ages or explore books like Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. But beware, those who dive a lot also need to come back to the surface. July's transformation comes from realizing that depth is not isolation, but connection with the essential. The challenge is not to get lost in the shadows and remember that every truth also carries beauty. And it is at this point that August comes in, as a bridge between the spiritual and the everyday, connecting everything that is earthly with what is most sacred. August is a month of bridges. Those born in this period carry the rare ability to see the divine in simple things and make others see it too. Its spiritual mission is to be a channel between heaven and earth, between what is invisible and what is touchable. The energy of the month pulsates everyday transcendence, applied faith, practical spirituality. They are people who bring light in small but deeply symbolic gestures. You find them in the most common actions, that friend who makes you a coffee and listens to you in silence, as if he understood what even you couldn't say. Or that person who sends you a song that comes as a prayer. When they live their divine purpose, they become living portals to the sacred, and you don't have to be mystical to do so. Want to align with that energy? Create daily rituals of presence, such as lighting a candle when you wake up, or reading William P. Young's The Shack with an open heart. But even bridges need maintenance. The intuition of August must be nourished with pauses and silence, so as not to become just performance. The transformation of this month is to keep yourself a clean channel, without overloading yourself. The secret is to remember, to be sacred is also to be simple. And when this wisdom touches the heart, September approaches, bringing the gift of transforming this divine flow into practical and intentional order. September is born with a ruler in the soul and a compass in the heart. Those who arrive in the world this month carry the spiritual mission of harmonizing chaos and transforming confusion into clarity. The energy of the month vibrates method, purpose, and elegance in thinking, as someone who organizes not only drawers, but also emotions, ideas, and spiritual connections. They are those people who take pleasure in seeing everything working in balance. Their intuition detects where there is a lack of flow, and there they come into action. In practice, they are the ones who take a messy project and turn it into an action plan. They organize finances, clean up the emotional, help others prioritize what really matters. When you live your divine purpose, you become true healers of environments and relationships. To access this power, invest in practices such as a spiritual bullet journal, Plan Cycles with the Moon, and read Essentialism by Greg McKeown. They teach that organization can also be an act of faith. But the organizer needs to remember that the sacred also dwells in the imperfect. September's transformation is about leaving room for the unexpected, without losing the center. Not everything needs to fit in a spreadsheet to make sense in the soul. And when this dance between order and mystery takes place, October approaches, with his art of provoking profound changes and catalyzing new versions of being. October arrives like the wind that scatters leaves and reveals what was hidden under them. Those who are born in this month have in their DNA the code of transformation, not as something occasional, but as a vital constant. Your spiritual mission is to help others, and yourself, to let go of what has already expired, to embrace the new with courage. The energy of the month pulsates conscious detachment, reinvention, and expansion. They are natural catalysts, which accelerate processes of change just by their presence. These people are the friends who say what needs to be said, even if it hurts, because they know that the truth sets you free. When they live their divine purpose, they become true spiritual alchemists. They transform fear into courage, pain into learning, and routine into rebirth. Do you want to channel this energy? Try therapeutic writing exercises, renewal rituals at the turn of the seasons, and read The Awakening of a New Consciousness by Eckhart Tolle. October is about turning the key, with faith. But not everyone is ready to change, and that's where wisdom comes in. The transformer needs to learn to respect the other's time, using intuition to know when to push and when to just hold the hand. The light it carries is like a fireplace fire, it heats up, but it doesn't burn. And when this awareness matures, November comes, with eyes that see the invisible and hearts that feel what has not yet been said. Those born in November see what many do not see, and feel what has not even been said yet. They are people with a powerful, almost telepathic intuition, who decipher emotions, environments and even silences with impressive precision. Your spiritual mission is to reveal hidden truths, heal invisible wounds, and lead others to deep awareness. The energy of the month is sensory, enigmatic and intense. They carry a light that illuminates shadowy corners of the being. You know who they are, that friend who texts you just when you're down, or the person who realizes something is wrong just by looking you in the eye. When connected to their divine purpose, they become beacons of intuitive wisdom and emotional healers. Do you want to strengthen this gift? Practice meditation blindfolded, delve into reading Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman, or study tarot as a tool for self-knowledge. November is about feeling, interpreting, and guiding. But this sensitivity also requires protection. The perceptive needs to learn to filter what he captures, so as not to overload himself. The November transformation comes with the understanding that perceiving everything does not mean carrying everything. It's about observing with empathy, but acting wisely. And it is in this balance that December is announced, bringing with them those who were born to be pure presence, pure hope, pure faith, the bearers of the light. December is the month where the light insists on shining, even on the shortest and coldest days. Those born in this period carry a very clear spiritual mission, to remind the world that hope never dies. They are the bearers of light, those who come as a hug, a right word or a smile in the midst of chaos. The energy of the month vibrates generosity, unwavering faith and illuminating presence. They don't just see the good side, they're the good side in the form of people. These people have an almost magical ability to transform environments. Where they arrive, they raise the mood, relieve tensions, rekindle spirits. When you live your divine purpose, you become like beacons that do not go out, even in the storms of others. Do you want to apply this light in practice? Make small daily gestures of anonymous kindness, write gratitude notes, read The Seed of Victory by Nuno Cobra. These are simple acts that carry an enormous power of transformation. But it's not always easy to keep the light on. The bearer of the light needs to remember that he can also rest, recharge, ask for a lap. Your intuition is your compass, and it will tell you when it's time to give and when it's time to withdraw. December teaches that shining is not about turning off for the other, but about lighting up together. And now that all the months have been revealed, the spiritual journey takes shape, piece by piece. Now that you know the hidden message in your birth month, tell me, will you continue to ignore the call, or will you fulfill your divine purpose? Because, you see, understanding this is not the end, it is the beginning of a transformation. How many times have you felt like you were here for something bigger, but didn't know what? For now you have the key, the birth code, in your hands, and the choice of whether or not to use that wisdom is all yours. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to let that light go out, or are you going to use it to illuminate the world around you? If any part of you was thrilled with what you read, if you felt a warmth in your chest, an inner click, it's because your intuition has already understood. Now, the next step is yours. And if you want to continue unlocking more of these spiritual revelations, subscribe here to the channel and activate the bell, because the next chapters of this journey will move you even more.